Today I have a brand new Bernina walking foot with all of its accessories that I want to show you what it looks like when it comes out of the box. When you open it up, you have your instruction booklet, but when you actually get into seeing what all comes with the Bernina walking foot, you'll be absolutely amazed. So I'm going to show you what each of these pieces does and why you want to have this wonderful foot. First off, when you get the walking foot, it comes with a standard presser foot. This will look just like the one that you sew with, where the needle goes in and out and there is a bar in front of it. Now, did you notice there's two other feet inside this box? That is what makes this walking foot unique. So as you actually are using it, when you put it on, and I'll show you how you actually put it on so it actually walks. Part of a walking foot is to help keep all the layers together, top layer, bottom layer, everything. Back in the day, it was called a plaid matcher, so to help keep the plaids and stripes nice and even. Then our quilters came along, and they snagged it because they need it for that batting that they put in between, and all those layers start to shift and slide. It's really hard to do any type of straight stitching, decorative stitching on a quilt without a walking foot. But with all the wonderful accessories, you're bound to have great results with this foot. All right, so with the foot, we have two seam guides. The seam guides are available to attach to the back of the foot. That's what this little guy does. So as we put it on, we can slide a right or left seam guide through the openings. You may need to unscrew it to allow the guide to slide in. Then you can set it for any distance that you need. I'm going to tighten the screw down below. Screw it down. So then you can measure. I need this to say be 2 inches apart. Every time you sew a row, you can have it be perfect every time you move along. So you can set it for quite a bit of distance here, 4 to 5 inches. And then if you're going around a quilt a different direction, you might find it easier to put on the left seam guide. And then that way your bulk of your fabric isn't rolling up in with the sewing machine as much. So that's how the guides go on. Then a walking foot only has one screw that you can loosen with the included screwdriver. And that is going to help you change out the sole plates. Okay, so as you do that, these black arms just separate apart, dropping off the regular foot. Now, a lot of times at our store, the walking feet really only have the open toe foot on. The open toe foot is wonderful for being able to see where you're going on any of the projects. So as you attach that on, what you do is you just kind of line up these little holes with these arms. They have kind of some black nubs on it. And that way, when you kind of get that close by, and then you take the screwdriver and tighten it back up, as those arms kind of pinch together, they will lock into place. Hear a little click, and you're ready to go. So you can see where you're going. Now, there's another thing on here that I absolutely love. There are 1/4 inch marks. So if you're sewing binding on, you've got a 1/4 inch mark right from the center needle position. You also have some marks that are horizontal here, and they are a 1/4 inch in front of the needle. So if you're sewing up to a corner and you need to stop a 1/4 inch from the end, you can line up these with the edge of the fabric, and voila, you're perfectly on every single time. Now, the new walking foot box does now include the Stitch in the Ditch accessory foot. And so we'll loosen that up. And it has the guide that goes right down the middle of the foot. So if you're doing stitching in the ditch, you can get it exactly where you need it to be. And just go ahead and position this in and start to tighten it, and it'll snap into place. So after it clicks in place, you've got a wonderful guide that's going to keep you guided nice and straight no matter what project you're actually doing. Here are 2 projects that the walking foot was used on. First off, to get nice parallel lines, we added the seam guide, measured out the distance that we needed to go, and then as we stitched, we can stitch lines perfectly parallel without having to mark every single one of those. And just each time we run a line, we can just move it over, and away we go. This one was using the walking foot and using the little 1/4 inch guide here and using that along the edge of the seam and then stitching accordingly. It'll stitch a 1/4 inch in, or if you need to, you can move your needle position. You'll have some ranges there to get just the right distance for quilting and making the lines appear just the way you want them. To attach a walking foot to the machine, what you want to do is come in from the right side. I position my thumb underneath the arm. This arm needs to be positioned around the needle screw, but there is a groove along the front and top of the walking foot to assist with getting the cone that you're aiming for in position. So you should be able to do this all with one hand when you're doing it right. And then when you're actually sewing, you can see that as that needle goes up and down, those feet will bring the fabric in through the machine and keep all those layers together. Now you can use any decorative stitch, any straight stitch, any needle position with the walking foot. So it's absolutely unlimited in its use.